And now, Fairfax Breakfast Club with your host, Bazil Lemba.
Welcome to the Fairfax Breakfast Club show. My name is Bazil Lemba and I will be your host. The Fairfax Breakfast Club is a weekly program. In this program, we bring to you valuable and workable know-how you can use to improve your networking and grow your business. We always start the show with a quote, and today's quote is, "In the end, all businesses can be reduced to 3 words: people, products, and profits. Unless you've got a good team, you can't do much with the 2 others." Lee Iacocca. With us today in the studio, we have someone whose business is bringing people together so as to maximize their resources and potential. His business is called The Alternative Board. And our guest is Dwight Handon. Hi, Dwight.
Hello, Bazil. Glad to be here.
Okay, great. Okay, we'd love to, happy to have you because you have a very interesting business and that, in fact, I'll let you tell us about it.
Sure. The Alternative Board is a peer advisory and coaching business. And let's talk about peer advisory board. Peers meaning fellow business owners, because only a business owner really understands the issues and challenges of really running a business.
Absolutely.
One of my business owners says there are lots of people that get the sign of the back of a paycheck, but only a few get the sign of the front of the paycheck. and there's a lot of responsibility and a lot of pressure that comes with that. And most business owners really don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody to bounce ideas off of. So they go it alone, they struggle. But with other peers, other business owners that see it the exact way that you see it, you can get a different perspective. A lot of people come from different backgrounds, different training, different education, and all of that helps in solving a particular problem.
Very good. So how does the Alternative Board then works exactly? What is the process?
Sure, that's a good question. So I form a board of, again, business owners that are approximately the same size in revenue, same size in terms of number of employees. We don't have any key competitors, we don't have any key customers. And the reason we do that is...
What do you mean by key customers?
So we don't want your best customer on the board with you.
Oh, I see what I mean.
And the reason for that is because there might be some things that you really need to talk about that you don't want your customer or particularly your supplier to know about. We don't want anybody from the same industry because we get too many people from the same industry on a board, which is about 8 to 10 business owners. That quarter, we sort of get too narrow a focus. And as a business owner, you want to be strategic. You really want to think about the broader, the bigger issues. A board meeting lasts for approximately 4 hours. We meet the same time each month so that you as the business owner can mark that time on your calendar and say, I'm going to reserve that time just for me to deal with my particular business issues. And here are some of the other challenges and issues that other business owners are facing as well. We also do private coaching. So what will come up is, and we can go to a slide here.
Good.
Okay. So we talked about the peer advisory board. Then there's private coaching and mentoring. And under private coaching and mentoring, I work one-on-one with the business owner, usually at their office, and they may have a fire of the week, let's just say, and they need somebody to bounce an idea off of. I'm there to help them to, again, think of it a different way and really challenge them and hold them accountable as well for some of the things that came out of a board meeting. There are also some tools that we use. The biggest tool we use we call SBL, or Strategic Business Leadership. As a business owner, you're in business for a reason, and that's really kind of to take care of your family, to get the things that you want out of life.
Sure, absolutely.
We want to call those things a personal vision. Some companies have a company vision. And it's important for the business owner that the personal vision and the company vision marry each other out.
Absolutely.
Okay? We call that the front wheel, your personal vision, sort of like a wheel on a bicycle. And the rear wheel is the company.
Gotcha.
So the front wheel is the thing that should be steering you.
Correct.
All too often, as you know, a business owner lets the company run them. So they're always on the phone. They can never spend any time with their family. They can never do the things that they want because the business just consumes them. Okay? And that doesn't help the family. That's why there are so many business owners that end up getting divorced. Third part is business education. And where do you get to go and learn more about being a better leader, or learning about marketing, or learning about sales? So we do some of that as well.
Gotcha.
And then finally, we have access to networking. There are approximately 150 to 200 companies in the Washington metropolitan area, even up to Baltimore, that are part of the alternative board. And that way you get to network with other like-minded business owners that are really caring about their business and really want to improve their business.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. So then, what is the difference between the alternative board, just clearly the alternative board, and any board that a business can have?
There's no difference other than on a board, let's take a public board of directors. A public company has a board of directors. They're paying those board of directors a substantial fee in order to sit on their board. And they meet maybe once a quarter.
True.
So this way, that's why it's called the alternative board. It's an alternative to a highly paid board of directors.
But you meet more often, because you meet monthly.
Exactly. We not only meet more often, but also there is a bond that occurs amongst the business owners. You get to really know your fellow business owners, because again, a lot of the issues aren't just business related, they're also personal related. And sometimes, since we're in a confidential environment, again, that's why no key competitors, no key customers, you get to really discuss some of those issues. Personal-wise, you may have issues and challenges at home. We've seen that, we've all run into that. And then you need somebody to talk to. Maybe somebody else has been through that same situation. Even being motivated as to running your business on a daily basis. Because like I said, that can be a real grind. That's a challenge, but that's a personal challenge that other business owners can identify with.
And would you say that in the alternative board, somebody can discuss those personal issues, whereas on a public board, they cannot?
Oh, absolutely. And because you don't see them that often. Let's say a board of directors meets once a quarter. Well, it's a lifetime that can occur between
or 2 lifetimes for that
matter. And you don't develop the same kind of bond. And in some respects, they're almost like another set of employees, because those that sit on the board sign the back of the paycheck. You are the one that are signing the front of their paycheck as well. On the alternative board, you don't get paid. You pay to be part of the board. So you say, I want to commit myself to getting better, to being a better business owner, being a better leader. So you're saying, I'm committing to do this and become a better person.
Okay. Would you think, or would you consider, would you think that because they are not being paid, maybe they'll be more committed, there will be more genuine relationship, will be more valuable or more richer, maybe, based on the fact that they're not there for the paycheck necessarily?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. Often after a board meeting is ended, and I act as and serve as the facilitator, so that it's not like we all just get in a room and just kind of talk and gaze at each other's navel. Oftentimes after a board meeting, the meeting continues outside of the meeting, because somebody said, you know, that idea that you had, I want to explore that a little bit more. So they may go to lunch, or sometimes they do business with each other. Says, you know, I need your particular service, and now that we've spent some time together, I trust you. And you and I know that business is all about relationships. So I'm developing a relationship with somebody that I can tell cares about their business because they're learning to become a better owner, a better leader. They're there helping me, so I know they have my vested interest at heart, and they aren't in it just for a paycheck. More importantly, they can tell me if something's not working, they'll tell me, and if I'm full of it, they'll tell me that too.
Basically, a good sounding board for somebody.
Oh, absolutely. It's an excellent sounding board. Now, if you don't like taking advice from other people, if you think you know everything, then something like the alternative board is just not for you.
Okay. Now, how the alternative board came about then?
Back about 22 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Alan Fishman is actually located in Denver, Colorado now, had a small electronics firm. And he ended up taking that electronics firm public. And what he found was, because he took it public, he had to have a board of directors according to SEC laws. So he got all these people that had different backgrounds, they had different experience, and now they were on his board. And all the problems that he was having before as the president of this small electronics firm, privately held, he'd take to them and they'd say, oh yeah, do this or do that. Says, or I know somebody that can help you with that. Same benefits you would get out of networking. And he said, well, gee, when I was a small company just running this by myself, I didn't have this kind of advice. I didn't have anybody to turn to. Said, what if I could take this concept and move it into the private sector? That was his vision. He says, let me think about this. He moved that to the private sector. He started writing a little newsletter article in the St. Louis newspaper, sort of like hints from Heloise. Business owners would write to him and say, I have this kind of problem. Can you help me? And what he found was that 80% of the problems, no matter what industry, were exactly the same. 20%, of course, were unique to a particular industry. He said, wow, not only is about 80% the same, but also I can get people from different industries to come in, and they're all willing to talk about a particular issue, and they're all willing to solve my problem. So he started with a small board of about 8 or 10 different business owners. Today that board still exists, and he is the facilitator for a board of, like I said, 8 to 10, and each one of those companies is $100 million.
Okay, so the number 8 to 10 keep coming.
Yes.
Should I then make me think that the board that you create, on average, it don't go beyond that?
Doesn't go beyond that, and the reason for that is each board member gets a slice of time to discuss their issue. If we had any more than that, then it just wouldn't, 4 hours would just go way too fast. We wouldn't have enough time. So you figure about anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes for an issue. Now, one of the things that does happen is oftentimes we'll get into an issue and a board member will say, look, this is really serious, that this problem Brazil is having. I want to give up my time so that we can spend more time on Brazil's business issue. So they care about each other that way because of the bonding and the relationships that are formed.
I gotcha. Okay. So how do you make the alternative board known to the community? What would be the best way to make it known?
There are several ways. There are networking events that we attend. There are some other facilitators in the area. Back in May, the Williamses, Brad and Mary Williams are another set of facilitators in the area. We conducted a session on how to use LinkedIn to build your business over at the Fairfax County Chamber of Commerce. We had about 75 people attend that session. So we try to get out, we try to network, we're trying to do referrals, basically any way we can. Here I am on TV, trying to grow the business and get the word out. And the good thing is the Alternative Board is an international business. We just opened a new set of franchises in New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Yeah. What countries are you in so far?
Of course, United States and Canada, now New Zealand, England, and Brazil.
Okay, that's good. So would you say that well, of course, I'm put in a difficult position asking you, should somebody have the regular board or the alternative board? Of course you're going to tell me the alternative board.
It's sort of, you know, let's take it from the brink. Should you have advice? Should you have somebody that you're bouncing ideas off of?
Yes.
The answer is yes. Okay. Now, what form should it take?
Okay.
If you set up a board, and it's difficult to set up a board, if you want to take on that, then fine. That's good. But you have to be willing to take on the right set of board members. And when I was in business school, one of the things we talked about was board formation. And of course, the thing that you don't want to do is to have all your family members on the board.
Why not? I mean, hello.
And that's what most people will do. They'll get their friends and family to be on the board. Well, that's, if you want to run your business and really want to get some objective ideas, then that's not a good idea. Now, if you have a lot of influential people that you know, or you have people that you respect, then have at it. I say that there are different types of boards, okay, and you have to decide what type of board you want. There's what I call the show pony board. Right? The show pony board is where I get anybody that's famous to sit on my board. Okay?
I see what I mean,
And then I can say, I've got this famous person on my board. That's useful in certain circumstances.
Public relation wise.
Exactly. There's the other type of board where, let's call that the Rainmaker board, where I bring in people that can help me get business. So kind of sort of quid pro quo, right? So you're on my board, but I'm expecting you to help me get business.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then there's the type of board that is more advice and guidance and helping me run and grow my business. Not to say that you can't have a combination of all three.
Understood.
But you've got to go find those people and you've got to figure out how to make it work.
Okay. Now, to this, the question comes to my mind. Again, it's put in a tough position. Should they come and see you, or should they create their own advisory board? What would you bring to the table? I guess that would be the question, as opposed to they're doing it themselves.
Sure. So there are two aspects of it. Bringing the board together. If you can find people, that's fine. But then facilitating the meeting, that is the tough part.
Okay.
As a business owner, you want to participate in the board meeting, but you also can't be there trying to control all of the different personalities. In a board, one of the things that can happen is you get the pontificator, somebody that knows all, sees all, and has been there, and they can just tell you everything. And if you don't have somebody controlling that individual, then they'll just dominate the entire meeting. Those of us that are introverts, like myself, know how difficult it is to get a word in edgewise when there are extroverts in the room. We used to do an exercise before where the extroverts would have to stay quiet. And you could see them struggling. They just couldn't do it. they couldn't stay quiet for more than 2.5 minutes. Right? An introvert can stay quiet for 35, 40, 60 minutes. So you need somebody to bring out the introvert because they have some great ideas. And you need somebody to kind of tame the extrovert as well. So running a board meeting isn't just, I have an idea and we all sit around the table and let's discuss. It has to be very controlled. It has to be very measured. It has to you have to make sure
that
you
get fair.
It done. You have to be
fair. One and all, allow each and everyone to express themselves,
right,
and be understood. Okay, so that's the difference. That's what you will bring. That's the other expertise, not just the people, but also the running of that meeting.
Oh, absolutely. Running the meeting is the key thing as far as a board goes. Like I said, also the coaching that goes along with that. But running that 4-hour meeting so that you don't feel like it's a waste of your time. And
the waste of time of the attendees.
Exactly.
Okay.
Somebody asked me that very same question once before. He said he was on a board and he hated it. And I asked him why, and he couldn't tell me. And I said, well, I believe the reason why is because the person that had you on the board wasn't committed to listening to your advice. You collected a paycheck, you went there for however long you went, once a quarter, you were happy to collect a paycheck, but at the end of the day, you didn't feel your contribution was valued. So you ended up being frustrated on the board. He said, you know, that's exactly right. I never thought of it that way. We would give some great advice, and the president of the company would just do the opposite. So it kind of felt as a waste of my time.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. What do you consider your biggest success?
As far as the board goes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think,
or the personal, either way, wide open question.
I think my children are my biggest success.
Okay, great. Excellent.
I have 2 children. I'm a native Washingtonian, so I'm actually born and raised in D.C. I have 2 children, a daughter that is an attorney, and a son that is a network engineer now.
Okay.
So both went to local high schools and University of Virginia and Virginia Commonwealth University. So that's my biggest accomplishment.
Very good.
From a business perspective, I think it has been every one of the businesses that I have worked with that have decided to stick with the board, take the advice, they have seen improvements, I mean significant improvements in their business and in their personal life because they don't have as much stress. They have a place to really go and discuss an issue that they're having, as opposed before it was just rolling around in their head and they were continuously dealing with it and they didn't know what to do.
Very good. And what would you consider your biggest challenge?
I think the biggest challenge is getting more visibility, getting more people to know about the alternative board. From my own business perspective, I think the other side, from a helping business owners perspective, it's really getting motivated, getting them motivated to take action. I find that a lot of business owners procrastinate, and it's something that is just inherent for us because we don't have to answer to anybody as a business owner.
That's good.
I'll just put it off till tomorrow. So getting them to move forward, take action, is sometimes the toughest and most frustrating thing to do.
Gotcha. Okay. Very good. So now somebody's starting the business or is already have a business. What advice would you give them?
If you're starting a business today, my advice would be find some counsel, whether it's one of the SBA type of things, whether it's like SCORE or whether it is a chamber, but find somebody to help you get started with your business. You don't have to go it alone. There are significant free resources available.
That's right.
The challenge with the free resources, of course, is there's lots of demand on the free resources. Okay? But again, I would get started that way. If you are in business and you've been in business for a while, you kind of know some of the ins and outs, but you want to go to the next level, whether you create your own board of advisors or you get somebody like myself, but I would say get a coach. Get somebody that you can bounce ideas off of, whether it's a team of people or one individual, but that's the thing that I think you need to do.
Okay, very good. Well, folks, you got it. That's the alternative board with Dwight. Definitely an option, because I know what I've run into. We have a lot of, can imagine, business owners, and we wanted to have you to the show so they know that the alternative board exists, what it does, so they can take advantage of it. At the bottom of